presentations, and yes, all generations.
All Souls Tulsa and All Souls Everywhere members try to live out what we call love beyond belief.
Bring your whole self each week to our worship services, Humanist Hour, and programs for families and adults.
Empower your children with a religious education that helps them make their own decisions about what they believe.
Connect and learn from our community of diverse experiences, faith, and cultures.
Sing with others in one of our many choirs.
Explore your creativity and find healing in the chapter of your life that you're in right now.
At All Souls, our members care for each other through the highs and the lows of our lives.
Live out love beyond belief here in Tulsa, across our nation, and around the world.
Join us. Become a member of the All Souls family in our centennial year.
At All Souls, our members care for each other through the joys and the sorrows of life.
All Souls Tulsa and All Souls Everywhere.
Join today at allsoulschurch.org.
Fortner on piano and Chad Henderson on drums. Woo! I wasn't sure I was in church. I thought I walked into a jazz club this morning. We also have Booker Gillespie singing for us this morning, so you're in for a treat.
Yeah.
Yes. And Carlton Pearson delivering a message, and Minister Randy Lewis. Woo, yes. And Minister Randy Lewis lifting us all up in prayer. So glad to be here with you this morning. My name is Barbara Prose. Welcome to those of you online. It's great to have you here. If you are visiting with us for the first time, I hope you'll take a minute to fill out one of these Connect cards. If you're here in the pew, There should be a link online in the chat or on Facebook so we can stay connected to you, introduce you to this community, and get to know you as well. Also, if you have prayers you want lifted up this morning and you're joining us from wherever you are in the world, please share those prayers, your sorrows, your joys, and we will lift them up together in just a little while. And if you're visiting with us here in Tulsa, we have some special gift bags for you out in the foyer. Hope you'll take one of those with you and learn more about this congregation and our community. If you've got children at home, please gather them around your screens. We have a wonderful story for you this morning, and I'm so happy to welcome you. I invite you now to rise and welcome each other and to stay standing for this morning's invocation and covenant.
Indeed, a day God has made. Let us then rejoice in it and be glad. Let us count our many blessings. Let us be grateful for the capacity to see, feel, hear, and understand. Let us be grateful for the incredible gift of life. And let us be especially grateful for the ties of love that bind us together, giving dignity, meaning, worth, and joy to all our days. Please join me in our covenant. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. And welcome to All Souls, where we love beyond belief.
From all that dwell below the skies, let faith and hope with love arise. Let beauty, truth, and good be sung through every land by every tongue. Thank you, angels.
You may be seated. We illumine our chalice this morning in this space made sacred by our aspirations, in honor of all souls, all sentient beings, and with respect and gratitude for the earth. As people of diverse perspectives and persuasions, held together by our common ideals and our common values, this simple act is a reflection of the love that burns deeply within each of us, and of the hope that beckons us forward into greater possibilities for justice, for love, and for an enduring peace.
Good morning. Welcome to the Story for All Ages. My name is Lee Rumley, and I am the All Souls Worship Associate, and I'm reading this wonderful story selected by our Director of Religious Education, Shannon Boston. I am the understudy today, if you will. This week's story is a tale of deepest connection. It's The Sun in My Belly by Sister Susan, with illustrations by Sister Rain. It was an early morning. The blue sky was hiding behind dark clouds. Jenny and her friend Molly were playing with a red ball in a meadow. "My turn," said Jenny, throwing the ball as far as she could. Molly ran after it. "My turn," she said, throwing the ball as far as she could. Jenny and Molly both ran across the meadow after the ball. "It's my turn," said Jenny, reaching for the ball. "No, I want another turn," said Molly, taking the ball and running back up the meadow. "Then I don't want to play with you anymore," said Jenny. "Fine," said Molly. I don't want to play with you either. She took the ball and ran away. Jenny felt all alone in the meadow. She sat down against a large oak tree and cried. Big tears ran down her face and fell into her hands. She cried until she couldn't feel any tears left in her. Sitting quietly in the meadow, she felt something warm and soft touch her head. She looked up. The sun was coming over the mountain, lighting up the sky with rays of gold and orange. The warmth reached all the way to her belly. "Oh," said Jenny, surprised. "The sun is so beautiful, and the sunshine has come right inside of me." But soon dark gray clouds moved overhead, and Jenny felt the first drops of the rain. "The raindrops are mixing with my tears in my hands. They are both the same," she thought. Jenny looked around and saw water everywhere. There was rain falling on the grass, the trees, and the roof of her house. The little pond was full of water, too. She knew she drank water every day. She took a warm bath every night, and she remembered the tears she had just shed. Both the water and the sun are part of me, thought Jenny. I can't wait to tell Molly. Then she remembered that she and Molly had fought. She turned to walk home across the meadow and saw Molly coming toward her with an umbrella. Jenny and Molly stood under the umbrella together and watched the rain. Jenny said, "I'm sorry I didn't want to play with you earlier." And Molly said, "I'm sorry I didn't wait my turn. Let's be friends again." Then Jenny said, "I think you must be inside of me, just like the sun and the raindrops." "And you must be in me along with the sun and the rain," said Molly. "I like having all those things inside me." Jenny and Molly decided to go get warm and dry and have breakfast together. As they walked home, they passed a cow. Jenny looked at the cow very thoughtfully. The cow had made the milk that would be inside her breakfast cereal. So the cow was part of her, too. Jenny and Molly stopped under an apple tree and picked 2 small green apples from the lowest branch. Now the apple and tree would be inside them as well. Jenny was quiet for a moment. She could feel her own calm breath breathing in and breathing out. She knew she had learned something special that day. Even if no one was right next to her, Jenny would never be really alone. All the different things that were on the earth, the people, the trees, even the air she breathed were inside of her. Jenny watched the sun come up and the sun go down many times since that day. She knows the sun is still inside her, even when it is dark or raining. She knows that the night and the rain are inside her as well. Whenever Jenny is sad, she remembers the sun and the rain, the cow and the apple, and she knows she is connected to everything else in the world. Children, now you get to go with your friends and your teachers and practice treating each other and yourselves and our environment with the utmost respect because we are all connected.
Never know, dear, how much I love. Thank you, please. Please don't. Come on now. Just consider this our first hymn. Are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. We'll be back a little later.
Today we honor the mystery and complexity of life. We acknowledge that life is never static and that change is the only permanent thing we are presented with. But we feel thankful that we do not traverse this earth alone. We are grateful for being a part of this community to share our lives' transitions, both joyful and painful. As we place stones into the water and share our joys and sorrows, we are reminded that just as the stones are submerged in water, we are surrounded by the love of this community. In the spirit of prayer, we drop a stone for the family and friends of Bob Tucker, who died Friday, July 15th. And a stone for the family and friends of the loss of All Souls member Dick Leeser, who died Friday, July 15th as well. A graveside service for the family will be held this Friday, and a memorial will be held here on Monday, August the 22nd. For those online, we drop a stone for our healthcare workers, the mental health of all people. Pat Neal. Prayers for my sister Alta and brother-in-law Dan, who are both dying with stage 4 cancer. A stone of gratitude for Kathy Pearsall, whose husband is healing after cataract surgery. I invite you now to name aloud someone you wish to include in this stone ritual. I drop a stone for all the precious names spoken and those unspoken yet remain in our hearts. I invite you now to stand in memory or mourning in honor of a loved one you've lost in the past year, or for whom this is the closest Sunday to the anniversary of the loved one's death. And please remain standing for a brief moment of silence. You may be seated. Eternal God, source and sustainer, we honor this day, this time, this place, and this sacred community of hope, of faith, and reason. Help us to be strong in our aspirations for justice, peace, and healing. Let us find our strength in our togetherness. Help us, oh God, to reject the culture of division, anger, and indifference. Help us to conquer anger with gentleness, indifference with compassion, discord with empathy and understanding. May we be open to the gentle tugs, the pulls, and the push toward love. May our hearts be touched by your spirit of wonder, that we may see all of your creation as worthy of respect and honor, worthy of love, worthy of wholeness. Move us, O God, in ways that restore us to the responsibility of good stewardship of this planet, of our neighbors' well-being. Eternal Spirit, inspire us to greatness, that we hold out for hope, so that we know that there is still a best that is yet to come. Oh God, for this and all prayers, we are so thankful. So be it, and amen.
And because love is the greatest power, it can never be defeated. And because love is the greatest power, oh, it can never be defeated. Oh, because love is the greatest power, it can never be defeated. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. Sing it with me now. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, oh, breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. If you're near someone, would you look at them and tell them, I wish you joy and peace? Tell somebody that, would you?
I wish you joy and peace.
That you run into. How in the world do you think anybody's supposed to respect you? Now if you don't give a heck about the man with the Bible in his hand, well, just get out the way and let the gentleman do his thing. Well, you're the kind of gentleman that want everything your way. Well, take the sheet off your face, boy. It's a brand new day. Respect yourself. Respect yourself. I said respect yourself. respect yourself. 'Cause if you don't respect yourself, ain't nobody gonna give a good go. Now, respect yourself. Respect yourself. Said respect yourself. Respect yourself. Now if you're walking around thinking that the world owes you something 'cause you're here, you're going out the world backwards like you did when you first come here. All that talking about the president won't stop air pollution. Well, put your hand on your mouth when you cough, that'll help the solution. And you cuss around women, you don't even know their name. And you're dumb enough to think that'll make you a big old man. Well, respect yourself. I said respect yourself. Come on. Respect yourself. Yeah, respect yourself. Well, if you don't respect yourself, ain't nobody gonna give a good cahoot. Respect yourself. Respect yourself. Yeah, respect yourself. I said respect yourself. Yeah. Respect yours. R-E-S-P-C-T. Find out what it means to me. R-E-S-P-C-T. Come on, y'all, listen to me. Respect yourself. Yeah, respect yourself. Come on. Yeah, respect yourself. Respect yourself. Yeah. Come on. Respect yourself. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Respect yourself. Respect yourself.
Yes. 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 Now. Bam. Bam. Yes.
Wow, thank you, Mr. Booker. You made me respect me more. Love that.
Fantastic. Barbara said when she came in that she didn't know where she was going, coming into church or a jazz.
That's right.
Well, jazz something. Club. This is the sort of jazz club, jazz church, jazz community. Sassy, classy, cool, integrated, interventional, non-conventional. I want us to be the most non-conventional UU church on the planet.
Let's do it.
You're loosening up a little bit. I thought you were too straight when I got here, but anyway, y'all are becoming cooler every day. Yes, I had a fantastic weekend. The last couple of weeks I've been traveling quite profusely. In fact, I just got in yesterday from Atlanta. 2 weeks ago, I went to the Biltmore Hotel in Phoenix, Arizona, where 20 years ago, Bishop Yvette Flunder, who was not at that time a bishop, a same-gender loving woman out of my tradition, invited me in as an inclusionist because I had announced the gospel of inclusion to preach for her. None of my traditional fundamentalist Pentecostal evangelical churches had any use for me at the time. It had just come out. All Souls heard saw the top headlines in the Tulsa paper that Bishop Pearson has become a Universalist, and you all rejoiced, those of you who were here, and screamed and hollered and yelled and sent me a big old offering. I think I need to turn Universalist again. The crowds had left, the offerings were down, and the inspiration came from this church and Pastor Marlon, whom we are now fast friends. But it was very nostalgic and sentimental for me to go back to Phoenix, because when I finished preaching to that group, and I had never preached to a quote-unquote same-gender loving community like that was primarily same-gender loving, by a woman and her wife, who was the original Oh Happy Day singer, the voice on that song, were there. So when I finished preaching, she said, walk down through the crowd and we just want to love on you, Bishop. That had never happened. So I walked through the crowd, and all these mostly gay men and women, same-gender loving, came and just held me and hugged me and kissed me. And some of them were dying, I realized, of AIDS, and some had actually died HIV since. But there was a healing going on, and they all embraced me, touched me, and I came back, and she had knelt. And they didn't portray this accurately in the movie. She had knelt on the floor with a vat of warm water and asked me to remove my shoes, which I did, and she washed my feet. And I was humbled, somewhat humiliated, but also humbled by that gesture of radical inclusion and healing. The people that I had rejected, I didn't actually reject, because I have many same-gender loving friends, and I've had all my life, members of my family, members of the church, but everybody was closeted then. And but I remembered that I had a little bit of an attitude. And these are the ones who hugged me and helped me and healed me the most when the ones I trusted the most had left. So I went back, and it was a powerful moment for me. And then yesterday, I was at the church of a young same-gender loving bishop that I had consecrated with what we used to call him the First Lady. His husband's called the First Gentleman. I thought that was the coolest thing I'd ever heard. I said, y'all really got it going on, First Gentleman. And there was just this corporate group of people dancing and singing. There was rhythm and blues, there was jazz, there was gospel. And this same pastor was Pentecostal and didn't like necessarily the gospel of inclusion the way I preached it when I first went to him 10 years ago. And now he's advanced and expanded and is embracing everything and everybody at a new level. I said to my people who said, you must come back, Bishop. I don't mean my local congregation, but the denomination and the religious tradition, you must come back to us. And I said, no, I'm not coming back to you. You all are coming this way. And I'm telling you, my last 2 weekends in Atlanta, there were thousands of people. I was at different events. I showed up at a lot of places. Everybody was hugging and talking. And Bishop, I got to talk to you. Man, I like what you're saying. I read your book. Man, I'm into this. There were several. I was with Jussie Smollett, the young actor from Empire. I've been texting and encouraging him quite a while. We got to spend some time together, even yesterday, breakfast. And he was introducing me to people and telling me his story, honestly, clearly. And the thing that I sort of was kicked out from is actually, as I predicted then, coming this direction, becoming much more radical inclusive. Now, universalists don't tend to have a problem. I see universalism as one verse, version, or versification of the whole. Uno. One verse, version, or versification of the whole. That I am a verse in Booker's life. He's a version of me. Sarah Jordan Powell sitting there, she is a versification of us. So all of you are verses in each other's life, or versions of each other. All you ever really meet is you, some aspect of you, even if it's an aspect you don't like. If it's something you thought you weren't and wanted to be, or something you wanted to be and don't feel like you are. Whatever it is, we are inextricably connected as a human race in ways that we dare to even acknowledge. Gospel means good news. Glad to you in Greek means good or well, glad, news, or angel, evangelion. Evangelion is the Greek word for gospel. Good, meaning good message or messenger. What is the news? Is it good or bad? It's not always good news. But the gospel is supposed to be good news. And the good news is that the bad news is all wrong. That's somewhat of an oversimplification of it, but that's the way I look at it. Because I lived my life judging people, including myself, shaming, shamming, walking around with a lot of guilt. I'm sort of a revolutionist and an evolutionist, and you can't evolve without dissolving. Certain aspects of my training has dissolved into ether. It's gone away. I've told Barbara so I'm in a spirit of rebellion. I'm rebelling against the things that have held me in the past, and I'm almost 70 years old, and I'm still changing. I'm not set in my ways. I don't know what I'm going to be tomorrow, but it won't be the same thing I am today. And the day after that, I'm going to be, because I'm including aspects of myself that I excluded. News means newly received or noteworthy information. And the gospel of inclusion, which means to comprise or contain a part of the whole. The word inclusion actually comes from the word enclosure, that everybody is protected. Everybody is enclosed and safe. I was taught that only some people are saved or safe with God. Not all people are safe with God. And I've been preaching this. The traditional gospel that we've been taught is that we need Jesus to protect us from God. Because without Jesus, God hates all of us and is going to put us in a customized torture chamber and burn us forever. Now, I got too many relatives that's burning forever. From grandparents on, I just never liked that doctrine. It never made sense, but it's handed down 4 generations, 5 generations, and if you consider 2,000 years of entrenched indoctrination on the planet through Christianity, God has terrible anger management problems and is given to violent temper tantrums and natural disasters, tsunamis, earthquakes, volcanoes, cancer, AIDS, the pandemic, now monkeypox. Everybody sees this judgmental thing, and we're almost mentally ill, at least PTSD, post-traumatic disorder. What is it? Post-traumatic stress disorder. You're sitting next to somebody who's wrestling with PTSD, starting with you. We're all struggling with these fears and this emotional disorder, the tension, a kind of psychosis, which means that you're out of touch with external realities. The politics of our country have become that way. Some of the politicians are out of touch with external reality and creating ideologies that are just non-factual, and yet they have faith in a lie. And I did too for many years, certain aspects of the way I was trained. The word integrity, comes from the word to integrate, or to segregate is the opposite. If you are an integrous person, that means you accept every aspect of who you are and who you aren't as valid. That's a person of integrity. That doesn't mean perfection. It means diverse. It means comprehensive. It means radically inclusive. A part of me is prejudiced and racist. A part of me is totally loving and forgiving and accepting of everybody, but I still have some anger, and part of me and some fear, and I have faith and I have joy, and sometimes I get mad, and all of that is part of who I am. I don't believe in personality disorders. I just believe in personalities out of order. There's a time to be a little ticked about something, or a little bit more intense. There's a time to be careful. Somebody spent the night at our house last night because my daughter took her friend home to an apartment complex, and there was some crazy stuff going on that looked frightening. So Madge just brought her back home, and she was sleeping in the library when I left this morning on the floor in there. But I was totally welcome to have her because she was afraid. Now, she's very strong, this young lady. She's very independent, but she got afraid. And I said to my daughter, that was a very responsible thing to do, because when she took her to her apartment, somebody creepy was there who may have harmed her or raped her or burglarized her place or somehow vandalized her. And so it's okay. There's a time when you should be more cautious and more alert. There's a time when you should actually have those masks on. I don't have mine on this morning because I don't have to wear it, but I have it in the other preachers have theirs on. I didn't realize they're going to wait till I get up and put them on. I actually left mine in the office. You got one, but you can't understand me as well. Besides, that one is white, and I don't do white no more. No, I'm kidding. Oh, no. Shut up, Rick. Leave that where you found it, dude. We're all segregationists in some way. What if all the masked people sat on that side and the unmasked sat on this one? What if you saw somebody with or without a mask and had a little attitude about it? Why aren't they wearing a mask? Oh, what are they paranoid wearing a mask? We tend to judge and prejudge each other, not based on conversations, but visuals. Religion in the Western world is dominated influentially by the ancient Judeo-Christian gospel of exclusion. It's that only some people are saved. I believed that for years, and you weren't part of them. Unitarians wasn't saved. Anybody talking about unity was the one world government, and we were afraid. Fundamentalists are afraid of unity. Afraid of unification, afraid of universalism. We like this elitist exclusionism, and that comes from our Judeo-Christian background and part of Islam. Those three religions all come out of the patriarch Abraham, but the attitude that we are better than or better off than, or we are higher than or chosen or selected above somebody else does breed a kind of prejudice and exclusionary attitude that's arrogant, and I didn't realize it was there. It took me 5 decades to awaken to the fact that I had been exclusionist, and I didn't even like it. I just accepted it because it was part of my religious brand and my religious breeding. The ideologies were very separative. Abraham's given name was Abram, which means many or multitude, but in Genesis, the name was changed to Avraham, which means father of many, or father of multitudes. And that's not just Jews and Christians. It's really, it was primarily a reference to Jews and Christians, but many would be anybody now that accepts themselves as divine, in my opinion. I recognize there is a divinity in all of us, and I'm both directly and indirectly affected, infected, in some ways defected by all those thoughts. And I accept that. So I'm taking a good look at who I am. I'm also enhanced and in many ways advanced by those concepts and those cults and cultures and cultivations. And we're all cult. I admit I have for the last 50 years of my life been a cult follower of Jesus. I've been cultivated to follow Jesus as Lord and Savior. Now, I've deviated a little from that. I'm in a little bit of rebellion. I like being different. I want to demystify religion. Not despiritualize it, but demystifies it. That we have to be so pious and so, walking in, even us in ministry. I like to be a minister and still be cool. Not cold, cool. Preachers tend to be standoffish, and we have a little bobby grin heads, and, because the customer is always right. We want you to like us and come and hear us preach and give, and so we're always dancing around trying to get you all to like us. You don't try to get us to like you. You just do what you want to do. You come when you want to come, stay when you want to, write us letters and tell us what you don't like. What if I wrote you and told you what I don't like about you? But we've been put into this frame, and a lot of ministers, about 1,500 leave the ministry every month. Something like 7,000 churches have been closing every month. Something like 1,500 Christians are leaving religion and the church every month. There's a major shift, a global shift in religious sensibilities. There's a group of young people who do not like hating an atheist or an agnostic or same-gender loving person or somebody from another race or another religion. These young people are getting along on this pluralistic concept, and they're saying, and this whole idea of critical race theory, a lot of these young people are saying, wait a minute, Dad, Granddad, great-grand, did we actually do that to Native Americans or African Americans or other ethnicities in this country? I love you, Granddaddy, but I don't like that. I didn't know that. I'm glad I've learned that we don't repeat these kinds of things. The Black Lives Matter movement would not be a movement without young white or non-black people helping to motivate it. There are more whites involved in it because we've been doing the Black Lives movement for 400 years. And we're still getting killed and mistreated. We're tired of it. But when now these young white people are coming in, of course, the Universalist has many years been involved in civil rights and social rights and humanity, which I love. And that's one of the things that draws me to this particular religion as in corporate identity. But these young people are saying, oh, no, we're going to be different. I'm not going to judge a person because they don't look like me or think like me or agree with me. I'm going to sit down with them and I'm going to have a conversation with the same gender-loving person. I'm going to have a conversation. Now, they had I was told Pastor David, I'm going to show him later, they had a gala in Atlanta. And I'd never seen such dramatic, elegant artistry, and mostly men that came. There were women too, but you couldn't tell the difference because of the wardrobe. I mean, some of the finest outfits they create. I said, where did you get you? I know you didn't buy that at the store. They said, no, I created this myself. And I saluted their creativity. It was glamorous and gorgeous and beautiful. And I have to admit, I was totally free and comfortable in a setting that my particular religious moorings would have opposed. You talk about being changed. Let me ask you, when's the last time you became more inclusive? Are you set in your ways? What do you judge or prejudge? How is your attitude elitist or arrogant? I have to ask myself that every day because there's certain aspects of me that can be condescending. Even on the group that I left, the fundamentalists. I'm a recovering fundamentalist. I need therapy and all that stuff because I'm still coming out of it at this age and stage of my life. And the embrace of all souls, I like the way y'all say it's not all, we say it's all souls, not all saints. From our background, it was all saints. We called ourselves the saints. If you weren't saints or saintly, you're on your way to hell. Can you imagine spending your life going all over the world, seeing most people as on their way to hell? You have pity, you have disdain, you have guilt, you have judgmentalism, there's an element of anger. You're looking at all these people just going straight to hell. Just look at them. Having all that fun and drinking and dancing and going to hell. Laughing. Well, you're going to wake up one of these days and you're going to see the devil and you're going to know you was wrong. Those thoughts lived in my consciousness for decades because I was taught to demean other people who were not like me. It wasn't a racial thing with me. It was a religious thing. When I became radically inclusive, and in the Christian gospel, it says, in Adam, all men die. So in Christ, all will be made alive. That God was in Christ reconciling the world, not the Jewish church or the Christian church to himself. That God was reconciling the world to himself, not counting men's sins against them. Religions always do that. Most religions are built on accounting. The King James Version says imputing. It means computing or adding up or counting men's sins against them. That if in Adam, Buddhists die, Hindus die, atheists die, agnostics die, bishops, popes, paupers, everybody dies in the original human being that the Judeo-Christian Bible says is the first human being. Everybody doesn't believe Adam was the first human being, but about 2 billion people do. Maybe 3 billion if you include the Islamic group. And so about a third or fourth of the population of the planet believe Judeo-Christian mentality, including Islamic, and that God hates a bunch of people. Think about that. Now, if hell was remedial or corrective or purgative, cleansing, correcting in that sense, I could sort of understand it, but eternal doom, eternal condemnation or condemnation or condemnation, if weeping, wailing, and gnashing of teeth of your 16-year-old cousin or brother or son or daughter, or your 60-year-old aunt or uncle, or your 80-year-old grandparent, because they were not part of your religion, the God you love and serve is going to torture them forever. That is the most absurd and obscene concept, but billions of people hold on to it. Thank you. And a lot of people believe in hell because they believe if they don't believe in it, they're going there. So when I say, do we need Jesus to protect us from God? Do we? That's pretty much what our religion has been. You need Jesus. You got to have Jesus in your life. And if you don't, God will accept the accusation of the accuser of the brethren, whom Scripture calls the devil, that God accuses you I mean, the quote-unquote devil accuses you to the quote-unquote God, and God believes the devil's accusation until Jesus steps in and says, oh, no, I was wounded for their transgressions. I was bruised for their iniquities. That's a scripture in case you don't know it. The chastisement of peace is upon me. By my stripes, they are healed. Now, I started preaching that in Christianity. They started rejecting it, but now there's a slow turnaround because they scared of hell too. And I've said to some of my Christian friends, if y'all don't, you better hope I'm right. Because if I'm not, you're going to bust hell wide open. Because none of us feel right enough or holy enough or healthy enough. We're begging God to forgive us. I know this sounds radical, but we've got to change that concept because it has created a global psychosis. People are mentally ill and traumatized by that fact. You may not run into them. Some of you have evangelical fundamentalist relatives of some particular religion, and they think you're going to hell. But they give you hell. I think we all go through hell, but I don't think anybody ultimately goes to hell. That'd been a good place to say, right on, preacher, amen, or something. Before we get through with y'all gonna be saying amen and everything else. So there's a new shift in the consciousness. And I'm through just in a couple of minutes here. I have to keep making my computer come on here. I don't stick to my notes. I write them and then they go away or something. I wanted to end with this. By consciousness, I'm talking about Christian consciousness. By consciousness, we don't just mean self-awareness or the capacity to reflect on one's own existence. We mean experience. By consciousness, experience, pleasure, pain, both faith and fear, visual or auditory experience in reality, including the invisible and the possible parallel realities that are out there in the universe. Consciousness refers to both soul and cells, the physical and spiritual chemistry of being. Psychology calls it ontology, the branch of metaphysics dealing with the nature of being. We are human beings being human. That's okay. Say it. Human beings being human is not a sin. It's a win. Everything is consciousness. Everything is energy. That's all there is to it, says Bazaar. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy. This is physics. Energy, consciousness, emotion is energy in motion. And we're all vibrating right now, Einstein would say. The vibrations of love, the vibrations of like. And I'm not just so into preaching love anymore, though I believe it. I'm more interested in preaching like. Because most of us are loved and love, but we don't feel liked. I don't remember hearing a sermon in my life about God liking me. And therefore, I don't like me. And I ain't crazy about you. So that's just there. That's just there because most people, all of us are children of parents that we know loved us, but we never really felt they liked us. And they would have they did like us, but if they told us that, they think we'd stop trying to improve. That's why you don't tell your spouse that you like them as I love you so much, and you treat them like creep. I won't say crap. You treat them like, but because you do love them. But the longer you've been married, the more you realize how much you don't like them. The number one cause of divorce is marriage. God bless you and keep it. And the secret to a happy, long life living marriage remains a secret because don't nobody know what it is. It just... If it happens, it happens. My dad, on nearly his 68th birthday, he said, or 68th year and anniversary, as you've heard me say before. I said, Daddy, and this was the month before he died. I said, Daddy, you've 68 years you've been married. You're stuck with Mom. I love you. We all love you. It's precious. He says, yeah, son, 68 years, and I'm still doing time. Well, And Mama said, you ain't the only one doing time. It is a task. It's sometimes torturous to try to work through and navigate all these different experiences that we have. But if you relax, friends, let go some things, relinquish, you're going to find that you're a lot happier. I'm happier than I've ever been in my life. I'm recognizing that is possible. I love you. Our best is yet to come. Keep on sharing, loving, expanding, reaching out to others, and let's be that community that the world recognizes as loving and receptive, and that turn to the person next to you and say, I like you very much, whether you know it or not. Or whether I know it or not, because some of you are not sure you like it. We love you.
Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow. Oh, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. All in all, yeah. If there is a load you have to bear that you can't carry, I'll ride up the road, I'll share your load. If you just call me, you just call on me, brother. If you need a hand, we all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. For it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. It won't be long. I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. Boy, it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Call me when you need a friend, when you need a hand. Can you hear me? Just pick up the phone. Call me. Let me know you're there. Cause we need a hand. Call me. Call me.
Give me a beat. Give me a beat.
Whoa.
Go, Barbara.
He's going. Oh, good. We're dancing. Thank you, Booker Gillespie. Woo! And thank you, Carlton Pearson, for that healing and hopeful message. I think we can all just feel the love in this room right now, the warmth in our bodies, the uplift in our spirits. So good to be together. Thank you to all our musicians. I want you to come on August 7th so we can thank you, and also so you can thank our senior minister, Marlon Lavenhar, who will be back in the sanctuary with us on the 7th. We're going to give you an opportunity to thank him for all he's done to make this avant-garde religious spiritual community possible, non-conventional in so many ways. So please join us for a really special Sunday on August 7th. We're going to appreciate you. We're all going to appreciate Reverend Marlon, who will be preaching on the 14th. Also, mark your calendars next Sunday. Reverend Tamara Labach is going to be back in our pulpit. So you don't want to miss next Sunday either. And Foundations of Unitarian Universalism really put the pieces of this puzzle together, this universalist message that really comes from the very beginning of Christianity with the life of Jesus, gospel of inclusion, and how it's led us to love beyond belief today. That's Sunday, August 7th, 14th, and 21st. You can register for that class online, get to know each other and all of our ministers that way. And then we have a new program launching this fall, Wellspring Circles, an opportunity for deep listening, really developing your own spiritual life, living your faith. And if you want to participate in these small groups in the fall, you need to attend a retreat on Sunday, August 28th in the afternoon. And Corey Lovell is the minister to talk to about all of that. Wellspring Circles, a Zoom retreat on Sunday, August 28th. And our Voting is Powered team wants you to know that this Friday, July 29th, is the last day to register to vote in the August 23rd election. I see we have a member, an elected official here in our sanctuary with us this morning. It's an important election, local city council races, primary, runoff. Yeah, really more important than ever to be involved in our democracy. We're the ones who make this democracy work. And if you want more information about the elections, Amanda Schenkel-Knowlton is happy to talk to you and share that information with you. Our offering, I have to tell you a little bit of a story, because our offering this morning goes to an amazing program through the YWCA, whose motto is to empower women and eliminate racism. Access to our pools has always been difficult because of racism in our society. But the YWCA Tulsa is partnering with the Red Cross in the city of Tulsa, and they're addressing these injustices through a program called Los Pequecitos, which means little fish. It's a very successful program hosted on the east side, at the East Side Y, with bilingual staff, and is going to be brought to families in North Tulsa in the coming year. So please give generously as you're able, and if you'd like to make a contribution to the church, use one of the envelopes in your pew back, and we'll now gratefully receive this morning's offering.
Okay? Y'all don't see that, right? I'm one of those cool ministers. Who's talking about? Listen, I was even singing Prince at karaoke last night. I know I'm cool. Thank you, Carlton. Those online who've joined us, thank you for joining us. Reverend Barbara stepped out. She's going to join us online, so just look for her. She'll be there online for after sermons, Zoom, right? For after sermon discussion. And for those of you who are in person here, please join us in the Alliance Room immediately after service. And as I call Minister Carlton to come forward for the benediction, let us extinguish our flame, knowing that we are all included in God's love.
Last 2 Sundays ago, when I was here, I met a lady who has an organization called Row, R-O-E, Row Your Vote. Yeah. Gently down, extreme. Vote. The last thing I want to say, benedictory, is that we vote. Get to the polls. I don't care what it takes. Please, I don't have to tell you. Don't keep idiots in office who are out of touch with reality. Don't. I'm shunned how, especially in the state of Oklahoma, how they invoke the name of Jesus, Trump, and everybody else to get voted. It just doesn't make sense to me. And I love everybody. Jesus more than Trump. But anyway, so just get in line. Let's be the radically inclusive community that people expect us to be, and watch things shift in this country. All Souls is in Tulsa for a divine purpose, if I can use that terminology. And we have barely scratched the surface of why we're here and what we can do. But we're coming. The best is yet to come. We love you all. We'll see you next time. Roll your vote. I'm very pro-life, but I'm also pro-choice. Thank you.